my main role is to look after the sound and video departments. Now, there are three main theatres which have a team assigned to them, and they kind of look after themselves. There's a manager in each theatre who looks after the scheduling of the shows in that theatre. I look after them, and I also look after all the other things that go on around the building. There's a great deal that happens away from the auditoriums, corporate events, press and marketing. We facilitate the needs of the access department, looking after captioning and audio description, that kind of thing. So it's quite a varied job, and there's a lot going on from dawn till dusk, really. At the National Theatre, you start working on a production quite early on. As soon as you hear about it, you'll want to know who the sound designer is, what their requirements are likely to be. So work starts quite early, and once the show goes into rehearsals here, there's a certain element of support we'll provide. That might be as much as there being an operator in rehearsals and somebody looking after it the whole time, to just providing a few sound effects every now and then. So there is quite a lot of variety. Work will continue up until the press night, at which point we need to pack it up and plot it and make sure we can recreate it. Because the national things are done in rep, you need to be able to take the show away, put another one in, and then put it back again. So everything has to be logged and plotted very carefully. Since I've been working in sound, what has changed is the importance of it for productions. It's not the sort of thing that gets left behind and that you do a bit of at the end. It's a key part of most productions now. So that's changed. Technology's changed in that, digital consoles are common. They're very flexible, very versatile. There are trade-offs for that. There are certainly people who are purists who would not want to use digital console over an analog console. It is, I think, more common for people who have done some kind of course before going into it. One of the advantages of that is it lets people work out that that is what they want to do. It's not a substitute for experience by any means, but it's worth doing if you can. And there are lots of courses out there. You can learn a lot of what you need to know on the job. Experience is really important. However, there are also things you need to know. You need to know how sound works. You need to know how the ear works. You need to know a little bit about psychoacoustics and how people perceive sound. And those things you can be taught. And it's worth doing that. You can learn from experience about what works, but it's quite good to know why it works before you start. Getting into sound probably is quite competitive, but it's also very varied. A lot of people do just corporate work. Some people do just theatre, some people do just rock and roll, and there's all the studio end of it. So it's quite hard to do everything. People tend to specialise, but people manage it. I think if you wanted to get into it, the main things you need are enthusiasm, motivation, and a real desire to do it.